Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signore, and Zack Snyder's Green Lantern has finally been revealed. Who it would have been, how it would have played out, and would Ryan Reynolds have come back? I got all the information for you here. Let's get down to it. All right. Now, this story is interesting. Now, this story had broke through one of those streams he had done on, I won't call out that person anymore, but something came out that was sort of not supposed to come out, but now apparently Zack has done it himself, so happy to report about it. But apparently there was a lot of back and forth with the studio. In fact, so much so that both the studio threatened to fire him and Zack Snyder threatened to quit due to him trying to include Green Lantern into Justice League. And so the story here is fascinating. This was part of an interview he did over in Vanity Fair, but it's behind a paywall, or I guess it was Esquire. It was Esquire he sat with. And Snyder talked about the situation in that the new Batman Joker scene, spoiler alert if you haven't seen Center Cut, was if this is my last DZ film, I thought it was rude for me to have never gotten Batman and Joker together in a scene. So I kind of came up with that scene. The last scene with Martian Manhunter that was in the film, originally I'd shot it in England, and the dialogue was very similar, but it was supposed to be one of the lanterns. So apparently he had shot it with the Green Lantern. Studio had told me I wasn't allowed to shoot anything and that there would be no film made of any kind. During production, that was the thing that they insisted on. I had shot stuff anyway, of course, in my yard. And one of the things I shot was the Green Lantern scene. And then they asked me when they saw it, that I put it in there, that they were going to take it out. And I said that I would quit if they tried to take it out. And then I felt bad because the truth is I didn't want the fans to not have a movie just based on that one stand that I was going to take. And the Green Lantern was Jon Stewart. And that was part of it too. I was like, I don't want to take a person of color out of this movie. I'm not going to do it. But then I felt like having Harry Lennox as Martian Manhunter at the end was, well, that was okay. That was in sort of clearly alien garb, but it was an African-American actor. And so there it is. So there was more to this story. Apparently they were going to fire him. They were going to stop the movie if he did it. And it was a back and forth. And all of this is interesting because it adds to sort of the Ray Fisher part of it, of why they cut the people of color. It seems like Zack Snyder has a similar feeling there about what they were doing. But the reason they were pulling it seems like, was because of the character probably still trying to figure out, well, what are we doing with this? Plus, they had done something previously with Ryan Reynolds. Apparently, Ryan Reynolds was also actually an option. Before we get to who the Green Lantern would have been, actor-wise, I want to get to this clip where we talked to a Hollywood Reporter. There was another idea that I had for the Green Lantern that wasn't Ryan, the one we talked about. And so I thought if we had gone down this path of Green Lantern, I would have to have had Ryan as an additional lantern. Reynolds would have been there as well as a Southern Lantern, but that's a different story. Didn't really get into much more details, but he did admit, yes, there was a point there where we were trying to play around with Ryan. And what's interesting is he had talked to Ryan on Twitter. Ryan and Zack had sort of a couple exchanges, like, let me know. Well, then Ryan confirmed I'm not in it. But it sounds like there was a more complicated back and forth of trying to make the Ryan Reynolds cameo happen. A lot of sources and scoopsters out there were saying Ryan Reynolds was going to appear, but it does seem like, from everything I've heard as well through sources, Zack Snyder really did try to make that happen, and Ryan Reynolds was open, but just couldn't get it done in time. But it didn't seem like Ryan was opposed to it. It was more of a just couldn't get it happen, and whether the studio was going to be okay with it. So there you go. You got this idea that apparently Jon Stewart was going to be in the film. It was going to be in the Martian Manhunter scene at the end. However, the studio was like, no, you can't put Green Lantern in this. That's ridiculous. We'll cut the movie if you do it. Now, racist of them? I don't know. Who knows what the real reasons are, but I can only assume it was more like, hey, you can't just launch a huge franchise of ours after we're dealing with the Green Lantern part of it all and Ryan Reynolds' failure movie. You can't just launch Green Lantern in this like that without a lot more approvals, is what I would imagine it was from the studio. And so, apparently Zack shot it anyway, and the person he cast to shoot it for this Fandom Wire...
exclusive.
Comes in from Fandom Wire. Happy to report their report from late last night. But Trevante Rhodes was Zack Snyder's choice for Jon Stewart. Now, I'm unclear if he shot it or had merely just casted it. Trevante has been out there saying that it was rumors. There was talk back then of maybe he should do it. He's a fantastic actor. I think if Zack really did indeed cast him, and I trust my Fandom Wire sources, they've been pretty on this, pretty great. This is from a source I trust. This this seems like it would make sense. It's a good choice. If you don't know Trevante Rhodes, he has been in Predator, The Predator. He was also in 12 Strong, Bird Box, but Moonlight was the big movie that I think, gave an amazing performance in that film. That's who Zack Snyder wanted as his Jon Stewart. Now, again, I'm confused whether he was going to shoot it, but that's the person who was going to be. Now, he's admitted almost quitting the film over the scene, but ultimately the director wanted fans to have what they fought for. He made a compromise and added Martian Manhunter instead. And so that was shot back then, but then still pulled from the movie. And Yalinger and Kilowog weren't the only lanterns that we're supposed to get. Snyder did reveal the actor is. It was Trevante Rhodes. It's all back then. He had tweeted in 2017 when the speculation was out there. It's all rumors, man. It's all rumors, but those rumors were true. Rhodes did, in fact, I agree with Phantom White here. That would have been a great Green Lantern for Justice League or Justice League 2 or Green Lantern Corps. And if he was down and interested, he's someone that we should reconsider again. Great actor. I think could pull this off. Super compelling on screen. I think that's a great casting choice. Look, Zack has made some great casting choices. A lot of people knock on him, but Gal Gadot, Henry Cavill. I mean, these are Ben Affleck as Batman. Who would have thought? Zack has been good at casting, and so this is another reveal where I got to say, look, this was not a bad call. Zack Snyder made some interesting decisions here. So that's how it would have played out. I'm curious, what do you think? Is it Trevante Rhodes? Would you have rather seen Ryan Reynolds show up? What do you think? Now, before I wrap up this video, there's a little tidbit I do want to add, and I'm going to say this without adding any drama to it. But could this continue is the real question still. Could they make a Justice League? Now, I've made several reports. If you haven't watched them, you should. I'll try to put it at the end of this video or up here. You might see it in a second on the iCard. But look, the reality is the way Warner Brothers is handling it now, it looks like they want to take control of their studio and not have the fans run it. It's just clear as day. And if the film had made so much money that the fans, I think it did, they would be not playing it the way they're playing it. But the reality is it looks like Zack still wants to do it. Here he is on Vero talking to some of the fans. I just need to know if there still is hope. Are we still fighting? You do it by watching and getting others to watch. Now, look, that's a fair objective. He's right. People should watch the movie. This is a good way to look, I'm proud of the movie. Get people to watch it again. Try to tell other people to watch it. This is a nice way to keep the movement moving. I don't think he's doing anything wrong here. Don't cancel your HBO Max subscription. If we want it to rise more, we have to have the numbers to rise. If we want to restore the Snyderverse, we keep playing the rules. Warner Brothers never faced us all, not us united. That's right. Look, he's out there clearly acknowledging the fact that he's not opposed to keep going. And in fact, he's got the Justice is Gray dropping tonight, I think it is, or was it last night midnight or tonight at midnight, I think. Hardcore, don't delete. He's saying don't delete HBO Max yet because I'm still on there. I need your views. Put it on repeat. And there you go. He still wants this movie. So, look, he made the impossible happen. A lot of fans like this movie more than I think people expected them to. Let's be fair about it, right? And I think they are being a little mean about sort of comparing the numbers, and it's clear there's still a lot of drama between Zack and the studio, but that's where I'm just confused of why not go find another studio to work for? All this drama he's bringing, I just don't think helps him in the long run. I think there is a point here where it's you got to just cut your losses and still do something else. Take your fan base elsewhere. Will he be able to bring his fan base to Army of Dead and make that a big hit? Those are the things that he's got to figure out right now. Looks good. I'm excited to see it. But can he find another franchise and just move forward? Or is this really what he wants to be on forever? It does seem like he wants to continue to be there, but he's got a lot of hurdles to go at, and he's got a lot of fights still with Warner Brothers to deal with, it seems. So what do you guys think? I know a lot of you still want this Snyderverse to continue. A lot of you do not. Look, I will give it credit. Watch it and get others to watch it. But don't fight. I wish you'd be a little bit more clarifying of just look, come on, leave everyone alone. Just watch the movie over and again. Try to get other people to watch the movie. That advice I can adhere to. That's fair, respectful advice from Zack. However, there's a lot of hatred still out there. I hope at some point, if it gets too out of hand, he's able to call it out. That's my 2 cents. In the meanwhile, very fascinated, and I encourage and like what he did with his casting choice of Trevante Rhodes for John Stewart Green Lantern. What do you guys think? Tell me down in the comments below. If you haven't already subscribed, hit that subscribe button, please. The bell for all alerts. Smash the like button and leave a comment. We'll be live. It's Thursday night. We'll be live in a couple hours, 9:30 Eastern Standard Time every Thursday, live here on Popcorn Planet. Join us, will you? We'll have lots to talk about.